What's up, everybody? Juan here. Of course, you can see me. That's dumb. I don't know why I say that. But, I'm sure fucking, Dom is gonna say something. Oh, you said his name again. What's up? Good morning, afternoon, everybody. Wanted to talk about the Orville. I've talked about it a little bit before, but I just watched a new episode last night, so that's kind of how this is going to work, I'm assuming. I said it a little bit the last time. I really like the second season. The first season was good, but I think the second season they keep hitting on big subject after big subject, and it's been really good. We hit on addiction. Can't remember the race, but there was a porn addiction episode. We lost Alara, who was the security captain on board. That was a sad episode to watch. Rumor that she was dating Seth MacFarlane, and then they broke up, and then that's kind of, it sounded like there might be something else, and of course all that shit's just rumor, but it sounded like she wanted to leave the show anyway. But that was a hard one. She was cool and she was fun, and it was fun watching her for a season and 3 or 4 episodes. But the security officer left. We had to they touched on genocide when it came to Isaac's race, trying to destroy every sentient being in the universe. They talked about relationships because they always hit on Ed and Kelly's relationship, but Isaac also had a relationship, and he betrayed that when he betrayed everybody else. And then last night's episode talked about addiction again. It was addiction in 2 phases. One, at the beginning of the episode, they found a time capsule that some Earthlings had left behind. It contained a cell phone, it contained some other various things, but the cell phone and cigarettes were the 2 biggest things that were brought up, that were left in the time capsule. The cigarettes get picked up by the Mocklins, and they start getting addicted. Apparently their DNA, because apparently at this point in time cigarettes have been eradicated, people don't smoke anymore, nobody smokes, and so everybody's fascinated by how these cigarettes make them feel. But the Mocklins kind of get that, and they apparently get addicted very fast, and so you get to see them go from never having had a cigarette before to a day or 2 later to being completely addicted. Once they decide they need to quit, they start hiding cigarettes. One of them hides a ton of cigarettes in a pillowcase. It's funny. It's really funny while touching on a serious topic. Addiction that's not something to take lightly, but they manage to make it informative, while still being a comedy. But that's, like I said, they start hiding stuff from each other. There's a big scene at the end where they're fighting and they're throwing each other onto tables and stuff before the doctor comes in and is able to give them a shot that cures their urges. But that's funny. But the other addiction was a little bit more serious, I think. Not that cigarette addiction isn't, but it was an addiction to a hologram, an addiction to somebody that I can't remember his name. Son of a bitch. I'm gonna have to look it up. Sorry guys, it'll probably be up here somewhere. But one of the officers, the helmsman, on this phone, they finally break it. They finally, access it. They're able to open it up and access it. And it's a woman who said that she left the cell phone behind in the capsule so that future beings could study her. They could decide whether she's a bitch or whether she was cool, or she left all of her text messages on there. She left all of her videos, all of her pictures, and the helmsman creates a replica of her and her world, just based off of all of the information that was on the cell phone that was left behind. And so he's from New Jersey, but I think they say it's been 3 centuries or so since this lady has passed away. And it's crazy because they're always on the ship. They're not really ever, or at least we don't get to see them exploring, other planets and except for one-off instances where they are, making contact, but they don't spend a lot of extended time on other planets. And I think it felt like home to him. It felt like, because like I said, he's from New Jersey, he's from Earth, so it felt like he was at home every time he would go into the simulator. And he fell in love with her. He fell in love with this simulated woman that was created from a memory. And he couldn't stop. He couldn't stop going back, even after a couple of other guys were telling him that, it's not real. We need to, how do we fix this? How do we stop you from doing this? And he was fighting, arguing that, what is real? Isaac, the sentient being, is only real, because we make him real. He said that maybe Isaac's just so smart, instead of self-aware, that he is tricking everybody to think that he's self-aware. So I don't know, it was really crazy to think about, but it was sad because he, after a few times visiting her and doing what couples do, and going out, he realized she was able to sing, and he helped her sing on stage, and so he fell in love with her. But in her text messages, she ends up going back to her ex, which he didn't read, and so he's devastated that she's meant, because this is based off of something she's already done, she's meant to get back together with her ex. Much like Time Freak, the time travel movie I watched yesterday, he tries to change things within the program. So he deletes the ex-boyfriend within the simulator, easy. He's gone. But he doesn't realize that also changes who she is. It changes the fact that she doesn't like to get up on stage and sing anymore. It's something that actually really scares her. And at that moment, he realizes that he's trying to find somebody who he fell in love with based off of who she was, and now he's changing things, so he's trying to make her fit something that she isn't. And he finally realized that when she told him she couldn't sing, and so he's devastated. He's sad, and but he realizes it's not real at that point. He realizes that he's got to let it go. So it was a harder one to watch, but it was good. Like I said, they managed to fit these kind of more serious topics within a comedy still, and it's funny. I have, for some reason, I've never liked Seth MacFarlane, but I really like the Orville. It's a really good show. For some reason, it doesn't come back for 3 weeks, and then there's I think 2 or 3 more episodes until the season's over. I don't think there's been any announcements on a season 3 yet. Probably in the next couple months, I'm guessing. But it was a good show. I like the Orville. I know that a couple people have tried it and they're not really big fans. But what you'll notice if you watch these more and more is that I have trouble not liking things. I like the Orville. It's just funny to me. I don't know why. I like watching weird aliens interact with each other, and I like watching, because it's so far into the future, I like watching people, like when they picked up the cell phone, they're like, what the hell is this, or the cigarettes. It's funny because we live in that world now, us, but they don't. They're at least 3 centuries past us, and it's funny to watch them come back to primitive things. And so I like the show. I recommend it. If you haven't watched it, or you gave it 1 or 2 episodes, go back to it, or start on season 2. See if that's something that a better jumping off point for you than season 1 was. But that's the video for today. I know I just got one from Gabe, haven't watched it, but that'll go up, I'm sure, today as well. But you can always hit us up at outsidethelongbox@gmail.com, facebook.com/thinkingoutsidethelongbox, Instagram and Twitter @outsidelongbox. You can leave us a voicemail at 970-573-6148. We are recording this Sunday. That's in a few days. Pop culture classic for this upcoming episode is Jaws. We'll see. I don't remember being the biggest fan of this movie, but we'll see what it's like on a revisit. But go check out Jaws, and then hit us up on any one of the social medias to tell us what you thought about that movie as well. But go check out the Orville. I really enjoyed it. I'm sorry if you don't. I like comedies. I'll see you guys tomorrow.